and welcome to another thrilling episode of the Mighty Movie Pod. My name is Ryan.
I'm Josh. We're back.
Back in your ear holes for another episode.
It's been years.
It's been Zarbons.
It's been
sure.
Zarbons. Wow, that's a deep cut.
But we're here, and we have movies to talk about. How are you, Josh?
I'm doing great.
How has the world been treating you?
I'm doing great.
Good. I'm glad to hear it.
Okay, what did Kyle Kinane say? In the midst of everything being shitty.
Yeah, right. You know, all considered, yeah, fine.
Yeah, dude, I'm doing all right, man.
Nice.
Doing okay.
Well,
made some tortellini the other night. That was good.
so yeah, you've got a lot going on.
Yeah, dude. I have a busy life. It's very fulfilling.
You know, hello, we're back.
Hi.
We do this still.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is still a thing. And apparently in very high demand.
Yeah.
And here we are.
By
supplying
popular,
you crackheads.
by popular demand. You know, we had packed it in.
Yeah.
We didn't know we had packed it in.
No. We hadn't decided to pack it in. We just packed it in. And then we were like, oh.
We'll give the people what they want.
We'll give them one last go, Ryan. We're putting the band back together.
Putting the band back together, and we're coming at you with a big one.
Boom!
Our greatest hits.
Kapow!
We're re-reviewing every movie.
Strap in, boys. This is going to be a 48-hour episode.
Strap in. No, through it's not even normally. I'd be like, it's not our fault. Nothing's coming out. But there's been
much, Ryan. So much stuff has come out.
Through the mostly Disney's insistence, the movie theater still fucking exists. And you've been a couple times, I've been once. And there are things to talk about. But luckily,
they're just trying to keep the theaters open because they got mad that Black Widow was mad at them.
Yeah, basically. But luckily we have HBO, Josh.
Yeah.
Because HBO supplies me with what I need.
Yeah.
A new sci-fi film that I can watch at my house.
Oh, we're just getting right into it.
We are going to get right
wow,
into
we're just
it, Josh.
we're getting right into it.
The problem is in the pre-show that we call it the pre-show. It's not even the pre-show because I never put it out.
No.
It's not like it's like, oh, if you tune in live, you hear the pre-show.
Yeah.
It's not how it works.
No.
It's just stuff I delete.
Yeah,
and it's gone forever.
Just us acting like idiots and getting over our anxiety about being on microphones.
It's warming up. It's warming up the chords.
Yeah. We're
But all of our opening banter was basically lost to that. So
yeah.
Sometimes we get right into it. Sometimes we don't. You're getting a peek behind the curtain.
Yeah.
That's
this
what's
is
happening.
some BTS shit, boys.
Sometimes,
not the band.
Sometimes, Josh, I'll throw some of that shit on the end of the episode, and this might be one of those times.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Which one?
Well, you'll find out.
Tay time or
There's lots to choose from. Anyway, we are going to get right into it, Josh. I'm putting my foot down.
Oh shit, he's fired up. Look out.
We're going to talk about Dune. And it's going to be, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to go. It's either going to go, I have a lot to say. It's either going to go long or it's going to be pretty short. Not in between. I'm guaranteeing that.
No, I because you have a lot to say, and you already told me that I can be that guy.
Yeah,
so I'm going to be that guy. So who knows?
Absolutely.
You might shut me down and get tired of my rants.
No,
so.
we'll see what happens. But the way I want to do this is I'm gonna have a quick 1 or 2 minutes here, Josh, and then we'll start our thing.
Yeah,
here. Because the way we've approached this movie is Josh knows about Dune, and I do not know about Dune. So I am a man who has seen Dune Part 1.
I think what we do is we give our opinion up front.
Okay.
About what you know.
Well, that's what
we do or don't.
That's what I was thinking. I was going to go on a quick little thing, hand it over to you, and then let it begin.
Yes, and then once
Okay.
Yes, we remember how to podcast.
Yes. So this is what's going to happen.
This is going well.
This is what's going to happen here. All right, Dune. I've watched it probably like 4 times. Not probably. I think I've watched it 4 times. And in following that up with this statement, I 100% think that this movie is pretty good. It's pretty good. There is a lot of weird stuff in this movie that I don't know if it's filmmaking decisions or if it's just the fact that they made a third of a story and made it one whole 2.5 hour movie, or if it's just that Dune is weird, which is probably most of it. And the thing that happens is I start watching it and time just like slips away and you're like almost done with it. It draws you in. It looks great. You can follow what's going on, like every scene, every shot. It's like meticulously done. And then when it's over and your brain just kind of kicks back on and you start to reflect, that's when the movie that's when it jumps down to pretty good instead of just being great. The level of filmmaking is great.
Viewing your average Christopher Nolan film.
Sure. I mean, Christopher Nolan wishes, but that's where I'm at.
Definitely.
I think the movie is pretty good, but I'm also like oddly obsessed with it.
Yeah, no. I'm on record as saying that King Arthur: The Legend of Excalibur was a disappointment to me. I watch that movie all the fucking time, and it is pretty good. But for some odd reason, I love it. I own it. I watch it a lot. I enjoy it, which is weird as shit because, like you, I'm like, this is good. Why do I keep watching this? You know, God, I'm all verklempt today.
Ooh.
No, I too share your thoughts on the movie. I don't think it's a great adaptation of Dune the book, but I think it's the best Dune movie we've ever had. My favorite is the Sci-Fi Channel miniseries that they did. A lot of people knock it for looking cheap and like it's all shot on a sound stage. And if you think about Dune the book has a lot of Shakespearean stuff in it. So if you think of the miniseries as kind of like a stage play that you're watching, you don't really have to sit and go like, oh, but that's just a matte painting. They're not really in the desert. They just piled a bunch of sand on a sunset.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, but first of all, who gives a fuck? And everybody bitches about the CGI in the miniseries. And I'm like, it was the Sci-Fi Channel guys.
Yeah, right.
They didn't used to have NBC money, you know? And now the Sci-Fi Channel sucks. But no, I really enjoyed the movie. I think it's enjoyable. It is aesthetically beautiful. It is one of the best movies I've ever seen. I thought this was another Roger Deakins joint, honestly. And then, no, it's another guy, and he's used him before on something. I can't remember what.
Yeah.
And then he did I can't remember the guy's name right now. I'm totally ill-prepared for this. But I loved the way it looked, particularly some of the spacecraft. I loved their take on Thopters, because Thopters, he doesn't really describe. Frank Herbert doesn't really describe the way anything looks in the book. He just tells you the mechanical parts, and then everybody's kind of created their own version of it. And Thopters have always had kind of an insect-like look to them. This is the first one I've ever seen where it doesn't have like propellers, but it looks kind of like a moth or a beetle or something like that. But it still has like this thing literally has like wings that vibrate them off the ground.
Yeah.
It's a firefly. Yeah. It's a dragonfly or something.
Dragonfly.
Is it a dragonfly?
Yes, dragonfly. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Firefly.
Yeah.
Looks like firefly. So
fireflies look like firefly. Fireflies look like Nathan Fillion.
Yes, exactly.
But no,
Serenity.
I loved the look of everything. The worms are really cool looking. The Harkonnens, I loved what they did with the Harkonnens. A lot of Blade Runner vibes.
Sure, yeah.
Coming off of a lot of this, in a good way. And I mean, Denis definitely has a style, and it's because, and even this is so drastically different from Blade Runner and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But it still has that kind of Blade Runner type of aesthetic to it.
The way he does like kind of functional, like but kind of dirty and old looking stuff, or like his whoever he uses to do a lot of so set design, prop design, and
everything looks like
wardrobe. It's all got like a look.
Yeah, it's all functional, but it's really hip and kind of like fashion stuff. You know, it's like that chic rugged or something. I don't know what the hell to call it, but that's what's going on in the movie. I think it's great. Everything looks like it's actually lived in and there and stuff. And I love the way that he grabs this strange anachronistic culture of Dune, because it's, like 3 million years in the future or something like that. I can't remember exactly how far it is from our modern time, but it's way in the future. Earth is completely gone in the book. Like nobody even really talks about Earth anymore. But at least as far as I've read, I've only read the first like 3 books.
Yeah, unless you're referencing states of a country that used to exist on Earth.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We'll get into that. But no, he really nails down that anachronistic feel where it's like sort of medieval, sort of feudal.
Yeah.
But it's the future, it's really cool. And it's just, I love the way it looked. All the performances were great.
Oh yeah.
I feel like where it suffers is nothing really happens in the first half, which is like the book.
Yeah. Okay. If you want to start getting into it, the whole fucking the nothing happens in this movie, and that's and that's fine.
Nothing happens until the last few minutes.
Nothing happens very quickly, I should say, for a movie.
There you go.
A movie is very well paced. The movie is very well paced. The problem is that it ends. So it's
everything happens.
It's super
in the last
fast paced, but it's
minutes.
It's not for the sake of trying to get through anything, because you can't on one hand take your time and try to make like fucking 4 or 5 movies or whatever his plan is, and then also be like, we have one scene of them doing anything once they get to Arrakis, and then it's like, all right, now they're all gonna fucking die. Like that, like didn't really take your time. They took their time early on, setting up some of the characters, kind of setting up their home world, kind of setting up this or that, setting up the Bene Gesserit. They did a good job with explaining kind of how that went.
Kind of, yeah. They get into the genetic programming.
Yeah, they get into that, so you're not super confused when they first land and you're wondering what the fuck the Fremen are doing. They did a really good job of making me understand what was happening. What's weirder still is if you watch Denis breaking down some of his favorite scenes, like he'll do that for certain stuff.
Yeah, it's cool.
He'll bring up some of the lore and he'll be like, and like as an explanation for something. And I wonder, well, then why didn't you put anything in the movie to explain that? And that's fucking weird.
That's where I break with the movie. They focus a lot on certain characters that don't fucking matter in the book at all. Like Duncan gets a shit ton of screen time in this, and Duncan isn't even in the beginning of the book. He's talked about being on. He is at the beginning of the book. He is with the Fremen. There's none of that scene where he's like, I had dreams, I saw you die.
Yeah.
That scene does not happen at all in the book. It's so what? Who cares?
Yeah.
But I liked it because they add a level of humanity to Paul that he doesn't have in the book. Paul is kind of robotic and stiff. He gets really interesting the more powerful he gets. His character evolution is interesting because he's never really very human, but he's not supposed to be either because of what he is. The Kwisatz Haderach. God, this is going to be such a nerdy podcast.
Yeah, but I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. It's funny that you say how much Duncan... So here's what I'll say about Duncan, Idaho. It's an awesome name, And also, it's a stupid name. That's a stupid name to put in your sci-fi book.
It's like an Indiana Jones kind of name where you're just like, that's a dope name. No one would name their kid that.
But you talk about his screen time. He does not have very much screen time.
No.
It's just that he seems very important to a main character when I guess he was like not really that big of a deal. I could see how that would, because it's like, he talks to him, he takes off, he sees him again, he takes off, he sees him again, he dies. And it's just like, so he's wrapped up constantly while not really being on screen. He
is important to Paul, but to the overall plot of the book, Dune, he does not matter. He's cannon fodder.
And
so he basically comes in. They have a couple, when they meet up with each other, there's a warm embrace, and everything. They're friends. They're old. Duncan is basically the second oldest. He is like Paul's older brother, basically. And he's captain of the guard, Leto's best fucking soldier. And he's been on Arrakis for forever doing all this shit and everything. And then when we see him die is when he dies in the book and stuff. But he gets a lot more time, while characters like Dr. Yui and especially Thufir Hawat, and Thufir Hawat just gets shoved in the corner. And a lot of the beginning of the first half of the book, the main characters are really Leto, Thufir, Yui, and Paul. And Thufir doesn't even matter in the story, and Thufir is very important in the book. He is Leto's basically living computer. They don't trust machines in the future, so there's no artificial intelligence at all. Everything is either remote controlled or they've created human computers, which is what Thufir is.
So the Harkonnens come in and he inevitably dies at the same time Leto does, though.
Thufir?
Yeah.
No.
So
Thufir. They kidnap Thufir because he wants Thufir.
So this is what I was going to say. Stuff. It's hard to talk about this, especially for people who know other stuff. It's hard to. Obviously, you can be like, it sucks. We didn't see this. We didn't see that, because you judge this movie for what it is.
Oh yeah.
But it's weird because they do have the power here to be like, hey, I don't think this part really works at this time, like something that's foreshadowing or is more important to the story later. How about we move it to the second part where there's some stuff where there's drier stuff, so they might bring him back,
because they did that in the movie when Kynes takes him to that underground garden and everything. Paul finds that just fucking around in the castle one day, and it's in the very beginning of the book, and they moved it towards the end of the story of the first film. And it happens almost immediately in the book. But there's like that scene with Duncan is a replacement for a conversation that he has with Thufir Hawat on the ship as they're getting ready to go to Arrakis. And it just kind of sucks because Thufir's very important and he knows all the Atreides secrets. And that's what Baron Harkonnen wants. And he's a much more competent human computer than Piter is. Piter actually got no time, and the Harkonnens got no time. And that sucks. And I wonder if they're trying to like downplay how deliciously evil the Harkonnens are, because they're kind of cartoonish.
Yeah.
But Fade's not even mentioned yet, but that's fine. Fade comes. I did like that Raban got some time, because Raban barely matters in the book, and he was the one controlling Arrakis through the whole attack and everything, and afterwards and stuff. And Raban was set up as the villain, and I'm thinking that they're gonna do more of the Harkonnens later on, but they seem almost like an afterthought. And the second chapter of the book is Baron Harkonnen explaining his master stroke.
Sure, yeah.
And
you need cutaway. So like you can't just stay with Paul the whole time in the next one. So I think maybe if they've moved some stuff around to be like, oh, and then we cut away, and then like, in terms of a viewer of a movie, they're not going to care if these are happening simultaneously, or it doesn't really matter. You read up, the pacing of a book is different, so who knows? There could have been scenes that should have been earlier in the book that should have been in this one. They can easily cut away and just do next movie.
And that's what makes it,
and that's what's so frustrating though, because I'm like, I feel like they're trying to be like, hey, keep this shit moving, but nothing really happens. So it makes me wish that we slowed down and took some more time with some of the stuff, like you were saying.
It feels like a breakneck pace to go nowhere.
But it's hard. It's hard to know and that's the problem. That's why I'm like, I want to know how many they're making and like that they're filming the next all at once, so they have time to figure out what they want to do, and we don't get stuck with like them being like, oh, we're not going to make another one, so shove as much shit into this one, or do this or do that. And that's the real problem, is it's like the way the movie ends doesn't matter if it's like we shot all 3 movies and they're all coming out, so you know it's going to be a concise planned thing. Now I'm like, who knows what they're going to fucking do.
I read an article, it was an interview with Denis, and he said he wants to go through, I think, Messiah, and that's the 3rd book, because I think Jihad is the 2nd book. I'm trying to remember. I haven't read these books in a while. I know Children of Dune is about his kids, but if he goes through, I think it's Messiah. That is the end of Paul's story.
Got it. And that makes sense. But how many movies does he want to try to crank? How many movies does he want to try to keep that to? Because believe it or not, they're not just going to be like, Dune is our new Marvel, and you can make as many Dune, like you get 3. Like, let's be honest here. You're lucky if you can do a Lord of the Rings, you pull off 3. Yeah. Dune is not Harry Potter. You don't get 8 fucking movies here, dog. So I'm
sure Brian Herbert would disagree, but Brian Herbert's a shitty little kid that ruined his dad's books. Don't get me started on Brian Herbert.
Sure, no, I know. In terms of hard sci-fi, I know it's very well regarded. But I'm saying in terms of dollars.
Oh yeah, no, that's
Dune
no.
is not
I agree.
Harry Potter.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
So I'm just kind of like, on one hand, you're disappointed in the stuff that wasn't in there. Not disappointed, but you noted there's some notable omissions.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't notice. All I notice is like, wow, they're really taking their time with this. I hope that we have a cohesive story by the time these all come together.
Yeah.
And if they're already leaving shit out and they're barely making it like fucking on a 1 of 3 acts, I'm like, what's happening?
That's the thing that I'm trying to figure out, because that did not end where I thought it would end. I thought it was going to end much later in the book, and that was why I was like, wow, it's really over, you know. But this is also why I like the miniseries more, is because they have the time. There was like 6 episodes, I think. And it was 4. It was like 4 or 5.
So let's
so
assume he can do everything he can. Let's just assume that he can make as many movies as he wants, though. Yeah. For what he covered in this one,
Dune would be 3 movies on its own.
Yeah. So I'm saying but assume he can make as many as he wants, and this is you watching the first one.
Yeah.
Like, fucking, did they show everything that like you're like when you saw it you're just like hell yeah, because I watch it like you're talking about the ornithopters and fucking. And the harvesters and the spacecraft and the fucking wardrobe.
There's so
much awesome shit in it. Like I said, I'm like weirdly obsessed with it.
Yeah.
And like that's what's making me so upset. As I'm like, this is not. I'm like, I know I'm not going to get the payoff I want.
No,
and I'm like, I could just read Dune, sure. Yeah. But like,
well, I was going to say,
as a film. This, like, turning it into a film, I'm like, damn, dude, yeah, this shit is fucking awesome.
Well, and that's what I was gonna add as a caveat. Is it a great adaptation of Dune? No. Is it the best Dune movie we've ever had? Yes. There's no way that you can adapt Dune perfectly in a film format, and that's what I'm trying to get to. Is it's just like, take it for what it is.
Yeah,
you know.
And that doesn't matter to me,
I know there's some Dune fans that are pissed off about the movie not being what they wanted and stuff, but Dune will never be a satisfying film to Dune fans. Sure. I don't think. Yeah. I'm sure there's ones out there that are cool with this version and stuff like that. And it's the best one we've got. I do miss fucking the weird David Lynch clothing and stuff. Like the David Lynch one is so fucking stylish. I love the look of that movie. Like the Harkonnens are just fucking super goth. It's all H.R. Geiger stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and it looks cool. It's very Harkonnen. the still suits. The still suits, they stuck with that design. That's the only thing he actually describes in the book is what the still suits are like.
I was going to say they were very similar to the ones that the little bits that I've seen from the David Lynch one. I was like, oh yeah, the overall design. I'm like, so that must be as described.
Yeah, no, it's the still suits have carried through each version of it. They all look pretty much exactly the same, and I loved it. One thing I wish that they had done was the Sardaukar just kind of get thrown in there real quick, and the Sardaukar in the book. This is one part from the book, and it's not really just like it just kind of sucks because they couldn't do it. They can't do it. It would take too much time. The Sardaukar come from a planet that is the polar opposite of Arrakis. And they're all surrounded in mystery. Like nobody knows what these guys are, what's been done to them, because they're like yoked up fucking super soldiers. They're like the Space Marines from Warhammer.
Yeah.
They're just fucking crazy dudes. And there's rumors that they were all prisoners and that they've been lobotomized or brainwashed, reprogrammed and stuff like it's nobody really knows what's up with the Sardaukar. And it's dope as shit, dude. And in this one, you get that they're fucking weird.
Yeah, that set piece was amazing with all the they
it.
just had all the bodies splayed up, just running blood down, and they're just scooping it up and just going around and fucking with shit.
And then the throat singing's going on and shit. Yeah, dude.
It's just like, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah, dude. And it's what I think that's another point where I'm just like, yeah, Dune's fucking weird. This is great. You know, that's where they capture the essence of the book. If they don't deliver on everything that's in the book. Yeah. And that's why I think it gets that's why it gets a pass for me. Cause I'm just like, no, the feeling is here. We're missing shit. I think Yui gets a bad rap in the book cause it sucks. Cause you just met him and then the betrayal happens.
Sure.
In the book, you deal with his conflict and he's just like, they said, this is the only way I can see my wife. I have to do this. And it's just, like Jessica,
I wondered if that's handled better because, like, I mean, it's a trope anyways. So who really cares? But it's just like you get tired of seeing tropes sometimes, and especially when like an entire thing hinges on this one trope where they're just like, he's like, I did the thing, bad guy. Aren't you gonna do the right thing? It's like, of course he's not. It's like it's always dumb.
Which is what I always I liked because like. He knows in his heart of hearts it's not going to happen, so he gives Leto the tooth.
Yeah.
Leto really bothers me in the movie because he's non-existent in the film. This is the least Leto Atreides we've ever had, and Leto is a badass. I love... Leto Atreides is my favorite character in the book, and he's only in the first one. But like a good chunk of the beginning of the book is him dealing with knowing that he's in a trap, trying to figure out how to get it. The guy isn't sleeping. He's just constantly on trying to get the Fremen on his side. And they threw him into a shitty situation. And it's a lot of him dealing with the stress and being a good leader and rising above.
So I like Oscar Isaacs a lot.
I love Oscar Isaacs.
And I thought he was really cool in the movie. Listening to how you're describing it, I think that's a hard thing to try to adapt. When you want to try to, because I hated that it kind of flipped that switch so quickly once they got there, because you saw the desperation when he's like, you see what's happening here, right?
Yeah.
And you hear Gurney telling Paul, like, you don't understand what's like, you don't understand the gravity of what we're dealing with here.
Yeah.
Then they get there, and I was hoping to see more of like, and this is where I was saying you can probably shed some light on, is this Dune or is this the movie? So I was hoping that we would see more of the sabotage and like them they sent them there and there's no way they could possibly succeed, but instead it was like we sent them there and then we just immediately attack them. Like I felt like there should have been some time to be like, hey, they're failing, like this happened to you because of you, but instead they were like, well, they sent the Sardaukar and they just sent us here to die, and it was less of like once they went out on that run and the worm came and he was like, hey, you see what's happening here, right? And she's like, take care of your family. And then it was like the very next scene is like they got betrayed, the Harkonnens are there, and it's over. And I'm like, I wish I could have seen them struggle to try to stop what was inevitably coming.
Some of that, when they focus on Leto, that happens a lot.
Okay.
But another way you see it in the book is through when Paul sees Thufir and stuff like that, because Thufir's been up just as much as Leto has, because he's his right hand man.
Yeah,
that's one of the things that really bothers me is like whenever you see Leto, Thufir's not far behind, because Thufir's like his spy master. He fucking helps him with everything, and Thufir's stressed out. He's not sleeping. He's not really eating and shit, and he's fucking up. And that was the Baron's plan, was just to fuck with them and fuck with them and fuck with them and just basically and then
that's cool.
They come in and they had the backing of the Emperor, because the Emperor fucking hates Leto just as much as Harkonnen does, because he sees Leto as a threat.
Yeah,
because everybody loves the Atreides.
They portrayed exactly like the political part of what was happening.
Oh, they did great,
very well. But then they kind of were like, all right, now get to them blowing them up.
it does happen pretty quick, but there's meetings that take place and stuff where you get a little bit of the they're like, look, they're fucking with us. We get, kind of thing. And there's proof that someone is spying on them from the hills and stuff like that. They think it might be the Fremen, but they're not sure. And that's the thing, is Leto doesn't know who to trust. He wants to trust the Fremen, but he doesn't know if he can. And, by the way, great choice for oh god, I'm fucking spacing on his name. The Fremen leader.
The Fremen leader.
The leader of the Fremen. That's embarrassing.
Oh, what's his face? Shit.
Yeah, the bad guy from Skyfall.
From Skyfall, yeah.
And the No Country for
Yeah,
Old
we
Men.
want to talk about good casting. Plenty of good casting. There's only one guy I didn't really care for fucking for old what's his face from fucking Thor as the Baron.
Oh, really?
I was kind of like,
well, he doesn't do anything.
I'm like, they should have got somebody. They should have got somebody they could have prosthetic up less.
Yeah,
is what I think.
Yeah, they get a big guy for the miniseries, and he just chews scenery. He's great, and Baron Harkonnen chews scenery in the book. Like, he's just like,
well, and that's the thing. He gives off a performance of like kind of disinterested and bored.
Yeah.
And I was
very aloof.
And I kind of really also, what the fuck. A polka dot man, is he? If he's not an Ant-Man, he's not living. What's his name? He's a fucking Blade Runner, dead. Fucking polka dot man, dead. Fucking this movie, fucking dead.
He dies in Dark Knight too.
Dark Knight, dead.
Yeah, he died. He was the guy who pretended to be Joker. Yeah.
Yep, you're right. I forgot about that.
I always get a kick out of that every time I see him in anything. I was like, that's fake Joker. No. Yeah, see, and like Piter is just a skeeve in the book.
I liked
all
him in
he
this.
wants, the only reason that he him and the Baron fucking hate each other. And that's why he wants Thufir, because he thinks that Piter's incompetent and an idiot, and Piter's kind of incompetent. And he's a shitty fucking guy, and he's not good at his job, but he's really good at scheming. So he keeps him there. But he doesn't have Thufir's precision and stuff like that. So that's another reason he wants Thufir. And the only reason that he's really jacked about helping the Harkonnens is that he's going to get a shot at Jessica.
Oh, God.
And it's all pervy and gross. And it's just like they're disgusting people. And I feel like maybe some of the... God, I don't want to be the political correct guy. But I feel like... they tone down a bit of the perviness that happens in the book and stuff.
They had the rapey Harkonnen scene with her. So,
See, and then that happened. But But there's like a line of dialogue that Gurney says that would definitely not sit well in today's.
Yeah,
so I'm kind of like, good for them for pulling it. But at the same time, like Gurney's just that rough and tumble kind of guy.
I liked Gurney. I liked Gurney a lot.
Gurney's great. The only complaint I have about Gurney is that his scar isn't as fucked up as it needs to be, because it is disgusting in the books. Like they talk about how ugly Gurney is because of his they call it the ink vine scar, and he got it from some fucked up whip that Raban used on him.
So let's get in. I want to get into some movie specific things here.
Okay.
To talk about things that like okay, they're somewhat movie specific. So the shields. Let's talk about the fucking shields. Okay. All right. So trying any fight choreographer having to deal with that, it would be a goddamn nightmare. Yeah. But they did a good job setting up how they work. I mean, nobody would. They showed us, but Gurney also had to say out loud. I guess they were afraid the audience wouldn't understand.
That happens in the book.
The slow sword after they had Paul show how it worked. Whatever.
No, that happens in the book too. I don't know why they demonstrated it visually, but that's how he gets him in the book. And he's like, remember that, because he gets him in the gut.
Yeah.
That part, and he's like, the slow blade pierces the shield. Yeah.
Sure. I guess they were like, we need that dialogue in there because it happens in the book. Whatever.
And
so they did a good job of demonstrating that, and that was very well choreographed, and everything about that made sense. And then they threw it out the window when Duncan Idaho was just going batshit crazy, where he'd hit this guy the same way twice, and then it would just be like, I went through the shield. And I'm just like, yeah. And I'm like, there's no way, because I really thought it was interesting. I'm like, nobody uses guns in the classic sense because they have these fucking shields, projectile weapons, unless they're highly specific. I really like those rounds. They would show how they slow down and get through, and that whatever UA was using, that would sit there and go through.
Yeah, the hunter killer.
Yeah, those were fucking cool. Oh, I don't think I realized those were the same thing as Paul had caught in his room.
Oh, yeah, you're right. My bad. Yeah.
But anyway, I know that there are, but they're probably impractical.
Yeah.
When
the Fremen start fighting back later on in the story, it's that's all gonna actually make sense why we had to learn so much about the shields.
Cool, that's fine.
And we should have gotten a bit more when they attack the city. That's the other thing. We don't get much about the Fremen or the city in the movie, and the book is but again, you can't do that in a film otherwise we're looking at like a 3-4 hour film.
Exactly. And that's the thing. I feel like true. It's one of those things where it's like you have a lot of dense, where do you cut? Where do you not? How do you make everybody happy? And me, if they probably would have taken more out, I probably would have been more happy with the movie.
Yeah, because you get hints of everything, and you're just like, does this matter or not?
Yeah. But then you start pissing off more of the core fan base, and he was a brave man for wanting to do this movie. Doing a sequel to Blade Runner, that's also, you need to be buck nutty, and guess what,
dude?
He blew it out of the fucking water.
Yeah,
it's just the best.
Unfortunately, it flopped. I'm glad that this movie's doing well, because that means we're going to get more Denis sci-fi, and I'm pumped on that. He also said he wants to do a James Bond, and I'm there.
I'm there for that. So it is cool. So it's cool. I like that there's an explanation why people use fucking swords, because they've invented this shield technology, so they fight with swords. It's kind of goofy, but it's cool.
It's dope.
But it's cool.
Yeah.
But it just... they kind of just gave up on it, the choreography, after a while, because it was like,
well, because you're gonna get these cool, fast, furious, like fencing. I always pictured them doing kind of like ripostes and rapiers and kind of shit, and then they move, like, it's all stabs. It's not a lot of slashes.
That's what I was going to ask you. I was going to say, in the book, do they describe, like, Duncan Idaho is so good he can fucking go a full swing, and then he fucking slows down, and that's what makes him so good?
They never describe anything. They just talk about Duncan being his best swordsman. So I've always figured that Duncan knew all the good tricks.
It's a fucking nitpick.
Yeah,
because
it's an interesting.
You're working
nitpick.
with the practical. You're working on in camera with choreographer and the actors and the director, and you're doing practical shit, and then you're handing it off to CGI people like, all right, you got to meticulously make sure the shields are going off when they should be, and blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, I don't know, he went pretty fast on that one. Doesn't matter. The guy's dead. That's what we shot. So it turns red and he goes through.
Yeah.
What can you do?
Yeah.
Total nitpick. But I'm like,
but it's an interesting nitpick because we can talk about
exactly. We can talk about is it described better in the book, and it's more just like, hey, this is how it works. Don't overthink it, idiot. And I won't.
No, but, one fight that is kind of strange in the movie because it comes out of nowhere in the book, but his fight with Jameis. Like, there's a whole ritual afterwards where they all, I was a friend of Jameis and stuff like that. And they all tell a story about them and Jameis. And Paul comes in and shares a story. Did he actually name himself Muad'Dib in the movie? Or Mahdi? Is it Muad'Dib? Muad'Dib is what he calls himself first, yeah.
I don't remember.
I don't think he does, because they ask him what his name is, and he tells them Muad'Dib.
I got it.
Because he has to choose a name.
Got it. No, I don't think they got that far. Maybe they're going to do that when they get back to the city or something.
The more I'm thinking about it, the more I think it might have happened. It's been a while since I read the fucking book. So there's details I'm fuzzy on.
Sure.
And I couldn't remember if that happened right after the fight with Jameis or not.
So is that the way okay,
Stilgar.
Explain.
That's his name. Stilgar.
Stilgar, yes.
I love Stilgar.
Stilgar was good.
Sorry.
Stilgar was great.
Stilgar gets better too. So I hope he gets the screen time he deserves.
Tell me if are his visions. So first of all, I know about the vision in the tent not being complete. By the way, I am privy to them taking something out of that, and we'll
they didn't really take much out of it.
Okay, well, anyway, regarding Jessica, I know there's more with her character.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool shit with Jessica coming up.
Tell me this: when his visions, are they similar to what's happening in the movie? Because I got it at a certain point. When I watched it, like, I don't know, a third time, I was like, I get what's happening here. He's fucking having visions and metaphors, which is obnoxious.
Yeah, they're all visions of
possibilities.
Futures. Yeah,
yes.
they are metaphors.
He dies, but when you kill a man, don't you die yourself? And also that because it doesn't have to be that way. But why is he? But like. What could he have done to make the visions of the guy he killed not be dead and teach him things? I never understood that in the movie. He's like talking to that guy and he's like, you're going to learn the ways of this and that, and we're going to do it. And then they fight and he fucking kills him. And I'm like, what could he have done to not kill him?
See, and
he challenged him.
Well, see, and that's where Jessica suffers, and Paul and Jessica's dynamic suffers a bit because they have a lot of talks because Jessica knows what's supposed to happen and she kind of engineers things to make it easier for them on the planet. Like the Bene Gesserit already paved the way for them.
I love
and
that.
seeded stuff. Mm-hmm. And that's so fucking fascinating where they create false messiahs. They created
a religion and then like it doesn't like it's not real.
No.
And he knows it's not real, but he's going to use it to his fucking advantage, or he starts thinking it's real.
No, he doesn't start thinking it's real. He knows it's fake as shit, and him and Jessica have an actual fight about it where she's forced him into this position. They have an argument about it. He's like, you made me this, and they do a bit of it in the movie, and I like what they did in the movie better because, again, like I said, it humanizes Paul, and Paul's not fucking human in the book at all, ever. The only time he's sort of human is when he's with Chani. And I'm looking, they're talking about doing the next movie from Chani's point of view. And I think that's very interesting. I would love to see this story from Chani's point of view because Paul gets less human as the book goes along, and having that grounded reality might benefit the story a bit, in a different way. I would be very interested to see what Chani does if they go with that angle, but, no, him and Jessica have an argument with it, and Jessica the whole time is just pumping them full of because she knows what to do, and it talks about how Jessica knows she's manipulating them, and she knows because the Bene Gesserit already paved the way, so she knows how to make the twists and the turns. I love
the dialogue in this one where she's just like, no, that just. I forget how Paul puts it out there, but she tries to spin it like, no, they're just seeing the signs. Like, it's real. And he's like, no, it isn't.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
they've been here paving the way.
Yeah, they take some liberties with the dialogue, but the overall theme of the conversation is pretty much the same. Where he's just like, "No, this is horse shit."
Yeah.
You know, like you're fucking doing this. And they actually, if I remember right, later on in the book, actually have a real argument about it. Like, you put all this pressure on me, now I have to do this because Paul is the Kwisatz Haderach. We're gonna find. Spoilers. And not really, dude. Fucking watch Star Wars. It's the same fucking story.
Yeah, it's the hero's journey.
Yeah. But yeah, he is that guy. And it's that's important. And that's where, like, I was talking about it being interesting that Kinge was a female now instead of a male. Because it's a very patriarchal society. All of Dune is.
Sure.
And
they do make Stilgar makes somewhat of a little bit of a mention to that. That's why Paul has to fight what's his name, which we never got around to answering why he has visions of hanging out with a guy that he killed, and there's nothing that he could have done since that guy challenged him.
Yeah, see, anyway. and that's the thing is it's just like,
so I found that was the only one that was confusing to me.
Basically, Paul sees possibilities and different futures and different paths and stuff.
Even if they're already kind of gone to him at that point.
Exactly. Yeah. Even if there's no way to do it. But he has a direction that he has to follow. And they talk about in the book where he's on a set path.
Yeah.
And
leads into the desert.
He keeps trying to diverge from it and ends up back on the path basically every time. And it plays into the grander story of Dune later on, the path he refuses to take and stuff. And ends up taking it anyway. And too many spoilers to get down with that. With that question has too many spoilers, basically, is why I'm not answering it.
I gotcha.
It's just he had to fight Jameis. He could have been friends with them. They could have done something better. And in the book, if I remember right,
it was okay. So maybe the point of it in the movie, the reason they were showing it is probably like, because I just found it a little confusing. All the rest of them, I got it. I was like, he's fucking seeing visions and metaphors, possibilities, this and this and that.
They never showed the really fucked up one he has about his dad. It's just a fucking bloody skull.
Oof. Nice.
Yeah, it's fucked up. And that's the thing. There was a line that they did not put in the movie, which is so poignant because the matriarch, the head of the Bene Gesserit, she knows that they're all gonna be fucked, and she's like, the boy will get everything, and then her line is, for the father, nothing. And it was just like, fuck, because Leto's gonna die the entire time in the book. Leto's gonna die, and it's just it's the Hitchcock thing where the bomb's there, but when's it gonna go off? She
was really cool. I like you're talking about how like cold she is, but when she left Paul, she's like, "Bye, human. I hope you live. Peace."
That's exactly the way she was in the book, dude. She's a piece of shit. I love her. She's so great.
What the okay, dude. I was like thinking of another scene with her in it because she's only in like 3 scenes. Fucking. What the fuck was that thing that human centipede fucking thing they had at the Baron, like their pet they called it, and she's like, get out. It was fucking
that's
disturbing.
That's added. That's added shit. Just to show you that it's space shit.
Just to show you that they're fucking weirdos.
That it's space shit and it's all fucking weird. Yeah, no, that doesn't exist. That was just there. Like I was like, all right. For one thing, her and the Baron don't meet till much later in the book. And they fucking hate each other. Yeah, basically, if you're the Harkonnen side, basically all the bad guys in there are great villains because they all fucking hate each other, but they all hate the Atreides. Fuck them. And the Bene Gesserit's all mad at Jessica because she had the choice. She should decide what sex her baby was going to be.
I understood that by the dialogue where she said,
was specifically,
we told you to only bear girls.
Yeah, she was specifically instructed because they had done there's a lot of genetic manipulation going on between the Harkonnens and the Atreides, and it's
maybe never mind.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, like maybe they're not. Well, Jessica and Leto aren't married.
No,
but
and that was another point of everybody being pissed off was because.
But what would Jessica have to do with the Harkonnens anyway? Get out of here, Josh.
No. It's no. I'm not gonna. Yeah, no. But it's the Bene Gesserits have been focusing on the Harkonnens and the Atreides, and they know what they've done to the Atreides line, and that's why they were like, you better give him only daughters, because they were a strong candidate for the Kwisatz Haderach kind of thing, and then Paul got born.
Yeah.
And she's like, what did you fucking do? They didn't put that conversation in its full, because she's just furious with her. She's like, what the fuck have you done? Do you have any idea what you've done to that kid?
Yeah, it wasn't
to
time
the entire
yet.
empire? Yeah. It's really good. No, it's not even a spoiler, because he's a Kwisatz Haderach from the beginning. Like,
yeah.
And it's I thought you were going to ask questions about the box.
About the box? No, I don't have any question about the box.
Okay.
I mean, the box is pretty.
I've had to explain the box to a couple people.
It's pretty self-explanatory. They were like,
it's all mental suggestion.
Yeah.
There's nothing in.
No,
the
there's
fucking
nothing in
box.
there at all. No.
Yeah, it's awesome.
No,
I
mean,
it.
like that's the best scene in the whole movie, probably.
Oh, dude, it's one of the best scenes in the book. The only thing that sucks was that Paul was much more reactionary to it in the movie than he was in the book. In the book, he just keeps reciting that prayer.
Yeah,
I will not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is a little death. I will embrace my fear. I will let it pass through me, and then there will only be me. He just keeps doing that, and she's like, oh, she's taught you the weirding way. Mm-hmm. And the weirding way is all psychic shit that you're able to do with your fucking... The level that some of these people have been genetically modified to and everything. I've had to explain to people that there's no, it's not the Force.
Yeah, no.
It's
literally
genetic.
It's expanding... So, okay.
The human genome.
Here's the thing. Denis actually, and this is what I was talking about, Denis actually explained when he was breaking this scene down that about AI and how they don't have AI anymore, and instead of using technology to that
extent, they use drugs and genetic manipulation.
They're evolving the human mind and using that to become a superior race.
The spice, all the fucking the guild, the Spacing Guild.
Spacing Guild, they use the spice.
They use the spice, and they're horribly mutated and basically live in... The highest navigators live in fucking tanks and stuff like that because they can't get out. They need that much spice constantly because it's addictive. And we'll get into... Hopefully he gets into the weird...
The
spice melange.
Melange.
Yeah. Melange.
I was like, they never called it... I know that I just remember the David Lynch... trailer, and I was like, they never call it that in this movie. It's just spice.
Yeah, it's generally just referred to as spice, but it is the spice melange. Has a cinnamon flavor. It's in the air. Jesus Christ! Open your inner eye.
Ew, dude. Your whispering eye.
Your whispering eye. It means vagina. No.
Anyway, yeah, no. There's a lot of things that so in case you were wondering, it's not, there were things that you didn't have to explain to me. I didn't read about or do anything that. The movie did a good job of suggesting it to me.
Yeah,
as
there's
a
a
viewer.
lot of good suggestion in there. It's just that some things I think could have been expanded upon just a little bit. Not the shield, but
no, that was a nitpick.
Yeah.
I just wanted to. I just wondered if they talked about how the best swordsman could do this or that, and I should have just been like, it's a fucking movie, and it's really hard to try to make a scene.
No. It was a good nitpick, dude, because it let me be a nerd for a minute.
Sure.
I'm cool with that. This whole thing's letting me be a nerd. And I'm very excited. No,
that's what I'm talking. This movie's so cool, but
cool.
But I wonder, and I fear that if I go down this path, I won't care.
Forever will it dominate your
I won't
existence?
care about these movies as much, and I'll be like, I just am a Dune guy now. But I'm obsessed with this movie, but it's not really the movie. I'm obsessed with Dune.
Yeah.
So so what do I do, Josh?
Well, Ryan, to you and anybody else, just understand that Dune is very, very dense. It's especially the first book. First book's pretty short, but there's a lot in it. It's very dense. It took me a long time to read it. I fucking supposed to do a book report on it in 10th grade, and I checked the book out, never gave it back, and never wrote the report because I didn't finish the fucking book. I still have that same book on my bookshelf over here.
Nice. I have one book in my collection that has the fucking school library thing on it. Yeah.
No,
didn't want my report card. Anyway.
I didn't even finish it till I was in my mid-20s, I think, because it was really hard to read. But I would suggest to anyone that likes this movie, use it as a jumping off point. Go pick up the book and understand the difference that you can do in a book and a film.
Sure.
You don't have the amount of time to develop as much of the world as you can in the written word.
Of course.
And just enjoy that it may not be an exact adaptation in a lot of ways, but it does nail the overall essence.
I guess I was worried, but I guess I shouldn't be. I mean, shit, I read all the Harry Potter books and fucking I've seen all the Harry Potter movies, and at this point I'm just kind of like, and I know they're not the same in terms of density.
Yeah, young
adult and stuff
yeah.
like that, but like when it comes to adapting,
but it is a rich universe still. No, there's a lot to Harry Potter. Like you're always telling me shit that I don't know.
I believe it or not, I wasn't watching the Harry Potter movie. At this point I've like lost a lot of the books. Like the movies become kind of, they're the essence of the book. It's fine. So
it's one of those things that you always want to go back and like I always want to go back and reread Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and everything like that, because I'm just like, I don't remember that happening.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
Yeah.
But we didn't need to know that Hermione had like a weird house elf fucking like
protest
group. Like, that wasn't in the movie. I'm fucking out of here. Let's go, Master Chief. We're out of here. You know what I mean? Like, like that's not gonna happen. So I guess I was able to. I came to terms with that. So I mean, but I'm just wondering if it's so fresh. Like if I read a book and then like a year later go and see the movie, it's like, I wonder if I'm gonna be like, if it's gonna ruin the movie experience. I kind of want to watch all the movie that's gonna happen and then explore Dune further.
I think
that's a 10-year wait though.
That's also a good idea, but at the same time, like, you could go either way.
Sure,
you could. It's funny though, reading Dune and then like thinking about Star Wars and being like, oh shit,
yeah,
oh shit.
Dude.
Oh shit.
Let's talk about things that are inspired by things. No, let's not. Just a quick
side rant.
Christopher Nolan is a hack. Everything from The Dark Knight Rises was stolen from the 1994 film The Shadow.
Ryan
Alec
just
Baldwin.
watched the 1994 movie The Shadow, and the entire end of the movie he wouldn't shut up about how much Christopher Nolan stole from the 1994 corny flop The Shadow.
Hey, that's what you steal from. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. You don't steal from a success.
Yeah,
you steal from a movie nobody cares about.
You don't steal the plot of Back to the Future. You steal the plot of The Shadow.
You don't steal the plot of Back to the Future.
Yeah, because everybody's going to call you out on it.
Everybody's going to be like, Tenet's just Back to the Future.
Oh, dude, like what happened to Mark Maron's character in Glow. Remember? He starts talking about his movie idea, and everybody's like Back to the Future, and he's like, it's not like Back to the Future.
Like, I think I got really high.
And I had seen Back to the Future.
I had seen Back to the Future. God damn it. Mark Maron's character is the fucking best in that show.
Anyway.
Yeah, no. But yeah, I recommend anybody, you know, if this caught your fancy, please pick up the book. It's very dense. Persevere. It's very good. It's a worthwhile read. You will feel satisfied by the end of it. I think it's IDW is doing a comic book version of this story. Oh. If you don't want to read the book, read the comic.
Also, I don't know if there's a good one out there. I'm not going to do the proper research, but a possibility is I'm sure there's somebody on YouTube that has a several hour fucking series on like a Dune lore explained or something.
Oh God, what's her name? Comic book girl something.
Oh, okay.
She has like a whole like she did it like a book club kind of thing where she's a huge Dune fan, and I actually watched a bunch of it. And she goes into really, really deep conversations about Dune, and she analyzes the text and everything. And I recommend everybody check it out. It's Comic Book Girl something. I'm pretty sure if you put Comic Book Girl, all one word, into YouTube, it'll take you right to her.
I'm sure.
And then there's another guy, I can't remember what, it was like Lore Explained or something. And he had like a...
I wonder if that's all branching from the comic books explained guy. He used to be called Marvel Explained, and he did good stuff.
Oh, it might be.
Yeah, but anyway.
Yeah, no, he goes through every single Dune book. And he has like like an hour and a half video, 2 hour video, stuff. They're all really long, but he goes into the minutia and everything. His stuff is fantastic. I love his stuff.
There you go. There's another option for you.
Him and Comic Book Girl. Check them out.
But yeah, this movie, like I said, I think I'm like, I've watched it 4 times.
Oh, dude,
I think it's pretty good. And it's like, but also I'm obsessed with it. I think about it a lot. I want to watch it again. And fucking this part of the movie is awesome. When the big orb comes down and all those people with the big fucking things on their face come out, and that guy's just like, I'm going to read from a scroll and give me your ring imprint on this. I'm like, this world is fucking nutty and I love it.
I love
and
it.
it's and that's what's so that I think that's a glowing endorsement for this. Me who knows nothing about Dune, it made me care about Dune. And if it couldn't do that, then I would be like, these people are right. It's taking too much away from Dune.
I got a buddy at work that was actually telling me, he's like, what did you think of Dune? And I was like, it's pretty good. It's a pretty solid flick. And he's like, I don't know anything about it. And I was like, the movie? And he's like, no, I loved the movie. And I was like, good. Yeah. It's, if you want to get into Dune, man. I forgot to mention that if you don't want to read at all, there is a very quality audiobook out there that you can find. And it's,
I don't know what the pros of the book is, but do they do it more like a radio show, or is it just straight narration?
I wish it was kind of like the Sandman one. The Sandman one is a straight up radio show style, and I fucking love it. Fantastic cast. But anyway, I could go on another tirade about the amazing Sandman audiobook versions. They're incredible. James McAvoy.
Nice.
Bringing it back around to Dune. In the sequel series to Dune, Children of Dune, James McAvoy plays Leto Atreides II. So I have a reason to be talking about James McAvoy. I don't. But anyway, no, the audiobook is like half radio play and like half narration. And I wish they'd just kind of doubled down on the radio play side, because every time the narrator reads a girl, he does a terrible. He's one of those readers.
Oh, no.
He's one of those readers that this is how a woman talks, right? And it's like, oh God, stop doing that, man. And also he pronounces Seach wrong. He says CH, and it drives me wrong. That's where the Fremen live. They live in
the
Seaches.
Seaches. Yeah, that's pronounced that way in the movie.
Yeah,
as well,
they're Seaches, and he calls them CHs, and it drives me nuts. But
my niece watches some YouTube video where this lady pronounces orange, and it drives me insane.
Oh God,
orange. Why did she say that?
Yeah,
Josh, help me.
I don't know, man. I'm still mad about that one lady we were watching when that lady kept saying controversy, and I'm like, that's not even how it's spelled.
I know, but that's just how British people say it.
She wasn't British.
I know, but there is a reason.
She's a
we don't say
pretentious
aluminium
ass.
either.
I refuse.
We take the U.
I refuse.
We take the U. There's no U in color.
No. Color. Humor. Herb. Because it's like Andy Izzard said.
Oh, dude.
Herb. Because there's a fucking H in it.
I won't disagree with that. But acting like a pronunciation of English makes it less obnoxious. Anyway, different
thing.
Yeah, whatever.
No, there's an audiobook, there's comics, there's books, there's fucking a great, it's called, I think it's considered to be the beginning of RTS. There was a Dune video game way back in the day.
Oh, wow.
And it was an RTS game. It was great. I fucking played it all the goddamn time. Didn't know shit about Dune. I was like 6. But loved it.
So there's plenty of Dune media out there.
There's
for the
tons
masses
of Dune
if
out there. If you guys like the movie, please ingest as much Dune as you can. Star Wars borrows heavily from it, and that's fine. I mean, fucking Warhammer 40K.
Star Wars is canceled, dude.
Oh yeah.
It's canceled, bro. We found out.
Did it.
We found out. We did it. They stole from Dune. It's not allowed. Even though, like
he did it pretty much just as a proof of concept for Flash Gordon, which was what he really wanted to do.
To quote Donkey again, how come every time anybody describes a goblin, it's exactly the same? It's because they used to exist, right? No, It's because like somebody does something and it just keeps going on from there. Like there's always going to be the first guy who did a thing.
Well, look at Starship Troopers and Aliens. The colonial Marines are just the mobile infantry. Yeah, dude. I mean, and fucking Starship Troopers, Starcraft, Warhammer. You know, like God.
Yeah, how come they're all so similar? That's because they're all ripping off each other, not because there's a genesis of a genre at one point, and then some people push that genre forward, and then that becomes the new it thing.
Well, yeah,
just like the Shadow comes out, and then like a couple years later, you got fucking Christopher Nolan. He's like, I'm making this thing called Batman, and I love.
I'm making this thing called Batman. Maybe you've ever heard of it.
And I love the Shadow, so I'm gonna basically I'm gonna lift the plot from the Shadow and I'm
put
gonna
it into my third movie
and put it into my Batman thing, even though it was loosely based on a character that was a radio show and they were trying to ape the success of Batman when they made the Shadow. Doesn't matter. He stole from the Shadow.
The one that cracks me up the most. I'm just forgetting that. All right, dude. I'm not endorsing this in your fucking weirdness. I entertained you last night, but today I will not have it.
You know it's true.
It's true. The one that cracks me up the most is Pandora, which is James Cameron ripping off Halo, which ripped off Aliens.
Yeah. Right. Just don't think about any of this too hard.
No. Yeah, yeah. You'll go mad. It's like when you go on that fucking TV trope site and you're just like, well, what the fuck does that mean? Well, what the fuck does that mean? How does that tie into that one? You know? Yeah. No, dude. It's just fun to see the influences.
I agree.
Speaking of, I've said it before where George Lucas went wrong with the prequels because he tried to go full Dune. And like when he tried to add a scientific explanation to the midichlorians and everything, like, no, the Force is the Force. It's just magic. Let
Scheming,
it be just space.
Political intrigue other than evil people blow up other people.
Yeah, you know, and it never makes any sense. Like, why would the Trade Federation blockade a planet that fucks with their profit?
Yeah.
You know, it's...
Yeah, but no, but you're right because it was funny. I was actually thinking about that as well. I love that because they're part of this Imperium, but there's infighting and like it might be a hassle for anybody to do anything about it. And like they have the Emperor on their side, so they're totally fucked. And like, why is the Trade Federation attacking another planet that they're all part of the same republic? And they're just like, help. And they're like, well, lady, this is a democracy. This is gonna take forever.
Yeah, bureaucracy.
and like. They fail horribly at the execution in Star Wars. Yeah. But I really liked that. I was like, I'm getting this. And they call him the Emperor of the Known Universe as well, which I thought was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Did we ever meet the Emperor?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we were actually supposed to meet him and his daughter, Princess Irulan.
She's unmarried.
In the beginning, yeah. Yes, and that was one. There's a ball that happens in the beginning of the book, and I was kind of hoping we'd get that bit because the whole intro.
This movie has no balls.
The movie's got no balls. Chance at balls, no balls.
No balls, dude.
No, there's like a gala, a big dinner instead of ball. All right, it's a ball. You made me feel all weird about saying ball. No, there's like a whole party.
Tell me about the gala, Josh.
The gala. No, where all the nobles come and they come to see how good Atreides is doing, basically. And Princess Irulan comes.
Yeah, that seems safe. Like, hey, come look how dope we are. You know that Emperor? He sucks, dude. All the houses think we're awesome. They talk about that. The great houses look to us and stuff. Yeah. And I was like, show me some of those great houses, please.
And you don't see any
And
of
you
them.
don't.
Yeah,
you see those cool-ass dudes walking out of that big orb spaceship, and that's all we got.
That's the guild, yeah. No, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it would have been nice to get a little bit, like, we get a lot of good character building and some really decent subtle world building, but it would have been nice to get some overt. And that's what the ball is. They come down. God damn it! Stop smiling every time I say it. It just throws me off.
Tell me about this ball, Josh.
He's just sitting there with this stupid shit-eating grin on his face, doing this deep nod like, yes, the ball. Anyway, you meet Princess Irulan. She's there with her father and everything, and, you know, there's this whole bit between her and Paul where they know that they're gonna end up betrothed to make peace between them and everything like that. And it's just, it's an interesting conversation. And you meet some of the other houses, and you meet some of the fucking trading guild and the free traders and the mercenaries and stuff like that. And it's Gurney's got all his connections from being a pirate back in the day. And I'm wondering if that's all going to factor into the Resistance when it comes out in the next film. But no, the other thing is the whole beginning of the movie. Somebody else reads Princess Irulan's book, because she does the whole Dune, Arrakis kind of desert planet kind of thing, and it's all Princess Irulan, and that's in the book, and it's basically from her essays and treaties on Paul and Fremen culture and everything like that. But it's there's so much. There's no way they could have done it in 2 movies. And that's why I cut it as much slack as I do.
Yeah, of course.
Because it's so dense. There's so much world building, so much character, so much. It is a lot, and there's no way they could have done it in 2.5 hours. And that's why I love it.
I think I am going to take your advice here, Josh, and take this as a jumping off point, because now that I've kind of wrapped my head around it, I think it'll make delving into that a little bit easier. I think going in like fucking straight up raw dog off the street, I'm not sure.
It piqued your interest.
Yeah, for sure.
And like
having
honestly,
a point of reference and kind of understanding the general ideas of that world will help a lot.
No, I'm actually going. I had wanted to go through and read Dune again before I watched the movie, and I never got.
I don't know if it was the last episode or the one before. I had promised that I was going to try to read it, and then I said I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
because I said we were going to argue in this episode, and we haven't argued at all. Josh.
No. I've just recently read Jurassic Park based on your recommendation, and holy fuck, what a great book. Dude, thank God they made Ellie a more interesting character in the movie, because in the book, she fucking sucks. Not Ellie, Lex, the kid.
Yeah, the kid.
That kid fucking sucks in the book. I wanted her to get eaten so bad. I fucking hate that kid.
Screw you, kid. Get eaten by a dinosaur.
Dude, she was it's weird. Like, again, side tangent. Fucking... She's not written like a little kid, but they constantly remind you that she's a little kid, and sometimes she acts like a little kid, but for the overall majority, she just acts like a petulant adult, like an adult that never got over being a little princess. She sucks so much. I wanted her to get eaten by that T-Rex every time they ran into it. Jesus Christ. Great fucking book, though. Really scary in parts. I kind of wish that we'd gotten the more horror-themed Jurassic Park. Really dope. Anyway, Dune, really good. I'm glad that you're thinking about getting into it, man.
Yeah.
I have been a huge Dune fan for a long time, and I look forward to you telling me if you how far you've gotten, or any questions you got about the book, man. I'm right here.
This movie's so cool.
It's really cool. It's an awesome universe, man.
Everybody's like fucking cool. Even Timothée Chalamet, who overall is kind of a wienery kid. I was just kind of like, you know what? It's pretty cool, man.
Dude, I'll be honest, this is the first time I've ever really enjoyed him.
Sure, yeah. I'm trying to think. I mean, obviously I've seen him in Lady Bird. He was a
dick in Lady Bird.
It was funny. It was fucking funny. That's the thing. He was such a genuine, like, fucking 17-year-old shithead.
Yeah.
And that
privileged 17-year-old shithead. Yeah.
Have you seen Call Me by My Name?
I watched
or by Your Name?
20 minutes of Call Me by Your Name, and Jesus Christ, about halfway through, I was just like, oh, it's one of these movies.
Yeah,
I'm not watching this.
I haven't seen that, and then I know I have.
And I need to clarify that. By one of these movies, I don't nothing to do with that. It's just one of those like ones where people sit around at tables and drink wine and are very pretentious, and I don't want to watch that.
And you might have to feel horrible by the end of it.
Yeah,
you know
and
I
don't want to watch that.
Or maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah. At some point, you're supposed to learn some kind of stupid fucking lesson,
but
and I don't want to learn a lesson.
But yeah, tugging on the heartstrings regardless.
Yeah, no.
I
watched
a bit of one other thing, but
Beautiful Boy.
Beautiful that's the one with Steve Carell, right?
I don't remember much of that movie.
Yeah, he's addicted to heroin. That's another one. God, yeah, fuck. Like you got to feel.
See,
fucking
and that's the thing.
terrible.
Like he does a lot of those movies, and I
Yeah.
was like, well, if you do something, I'm gonna watch.
Sure,
with
sure.
lasers and werewolves.
But I feel like he's done one more that wasn't as hardcore as like Beautiful Boy or Call Me by Your Name. In the whole like Oscar bait fucking maybe make you. Feel
I think that's why I don't typically care for him, because I have a real problem with Oscar bait films. We've had a lot of arguments.
Yeah, I know you do.
Like some of them, yes, they
it's
are
how
good.
they get away
but
with marketing, though. It's
Yes.
a marketing budget with a film that's like doesn't have broad appeal.
Well, see, and right now this is where the theater shit is like interesting to me right now. It's just like, motherfucker, you can't release that to 6 theaters and call it a masterpiece.
I was gonna say though, I'm actually gonna probably watch more of them because they're gonna go to streaming services, which is good for me. Because I would always make a decent effort rolling up to the Oscars.
No, and
you would.
But
you're not wrong about those types of movies.
It's the one particular director that we argued about where I'm like, the guy used to make fucking great blockbusters, and the blockbuster community is seriously lacking. And I want to see him return.
There's no blockbuster directors anymore. There's only blockbuster studios.
Dude, good, very good call there, dude. No, we could talk about that for a while.
Yeah.
No, dude, I miss Spielberg doing like comedies. It's the same thing like I said about Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks used to be very fucking funny, and now he's chasing it because he hasn't gotten enough Oscars. But then,
I don't know. He's got a new movie on Apple TV Plus.
Is it a movie or a show?
It's a movie, and he's just hanging out with a robot. So.
I know. I kind of want to check it out. I'm tempted to sign up for.
I'll give you my login, man.
Dope.
I don't know why I haven't done that yet, but
whatever. Anyway, I
fucking pay $5 a month for that.
But then
I still don't know why. I watched Ted Lasso, obviously, but every time I get charged for it, I get angry.
You watch the Chris Evans show.
Yeah.
So that's $10 right there.
Fucking Apple TV, dude. Fucking Apple TV Plus, man.
Yeah,
anyway.
dude. I mean, that's $10, man. You know?
It's just $5.
No, I kind of miss when Tom Hanks would make like Big. Or, and I don't really like it, but Forrest Gump,
sure.
The fucking, I showed you Dragnet with him and Dan Aykroyd. Dude, you are Tom Hanks. People are not going to turn against you for doing a screwball comedy. Have some fun. Have some fun, lighten up. That's my only thing. Is like with him and Spielberg, is like, have some fun. Lighten up, because stop letting these assholes drag Amblin through the fucking nostalgia river and make them fucking what you used to do, my dude. He
did Greyhound.
See, and that's not fair, because I was gonna bring that up. I'm like, I say all this, and then I'm like, Greyhound.
His last 2 movies have been on Apple TV. Yeah, that's fucking weird. So
I think he's got like an exclusive thing or some shit.
Maybe I don't know.
That's just where he wants to go.
But yeah, you're right. It's like Bridge of Spies and fucking The Post and what else was he doing? Just.
It's all just him chasing that Oscar bait, and he's got his go-tos. He's got Meryl Streep. He's got Tom Hanks.
It's working with Spielberg.
Working with Spielberg, and it's just, what kind of movie it is as soon as you see the trailer. And it's like I was telling you about Ryan Reynolds earlier. Like, I still like him. I'm just sick of it right now. Like
he's been. I wonder if he's. I mean, I'm sure he's not complaining, but he kind of got pigeonholed a little bit into like, you play Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that kind of happened after Van Wilder,
sure,
and then he took some
shots.
I
don't know. He was in The Proposal. He was fine. No, dude, fuck that movie.
The Proposal's terrible. The only rom-com starring Ryan Reynolds that's worth watching is Just Friends.
Just Friends, yeah.
Movie's amazing.
It's good.
Rusty.
Yeah. Sure.
God damn it! I love
but the fast talking, quipping, and to be fair,
he's very good at it.
And to be fair, they switch it up sometimes, but
he did one with.
It's like when he showed up in Hobbs and Shaw, it was just kind of like, ugh.
Yeah, dude, that was kind of when I was like, I'm done, dude.
And then I saw him in Dead We're Not Dead. The best part about being
600
dead is
was it 600?
Still being
600
alive.
ground. 600 ground.
Being dead is being alive at the same time.
Oh God, that movie.
He was actually all right. And the movie sucks.
Oh, the movie's terrible, except for parts where it's just like, oh, you had someone with talent do this part.
Yeah, we talked about that movie on the podcast. It's bizarre. You can go back and listen. I won't tell you which episode it is. So just listen to them all. Fucking, it's bizarre.
Dig for it, people.
It's bizarre that that one sequence of the movie feels like it's directed by like fucking, I don't know, fuck, I can't think of his name. Damn it. Oh no!
You talking about the Skyfall guy?
I was gonna say
James Bond guy.
No, that's Skyfall is Mendez. But,
Mendez, yeah.
But no, I was gonna say Fallout.
Yeah.
Fuck, I can't think of his name.
I know who you're talking
One
about.
of those feels like it's fucking directed by the guy who would make like a Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah.
And then the
Or John Wick.
yeah. Then the very fucking next like action sequence is like it's a fucking straight to video Bruce Willis movie.
The whole beginning of the movie is just Michael Bay at Michael Bay maximum.
And then there's some Michael Bay bits that are like a little annoying, but still fun enough to watch. It's such a bizarre movie. Anyway,
it's a weird fucking.
and
place.
then he wasn't doing a lot. He would make cameos. I feel like
He did a lot of cameos.
And then Free Guy got delayed forever, and that finally came out.
Free Guy was supposed to come out in 2019,
yeah,
wasn't it?
I believe it was.
So
yeah.
it got delayed the longest.
I think it was like right around. It was like maybe it was supposed to come out fucking March of 2020.
Probably. You know what?
Yeah.
I'll bet it was a February movie.
Yeah, or something like that.
I'll bet it was a fuck you. It's February movie.
Mm-hmm. That movie's fine.
That's
By
a
the
dude.
way,
I've
we'll
heard
talk
from a
about
lot
it.
of people that it is better than it has any right to be. No, I still got to check that one out, but we'll talk about
I mean,
that
you got
one.
Steve from Stranger Things. You got fucking Taika Waititi fucking
I do
not
like Steve.
caring about being there and just fucking giving it his all. I know those are conflicting things I just said, but you have to see his performance to understand.
It's just fucking Taika just oozes that, where he's like, I don't care that I'm here. I'm gonna do whatever I want.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, he's like putting effort into it. He's like, I don't care.
Yeah,
He's doing it for kudos and Twitter followers.
exactly. Oh man,
I can't wait for
Dune.
his
Am I right?
Dune's a fantastic film. Please
Yeah.
check it out
Dune, check it out.
if you haven't already. And I'm sorry if we spoiled anything here. We forgot to put a spoiler warning out, but
I'll put it in the description.
it was mostly a spoiler conversation anyway. And from what I've heard from a couple of our viewers that talk to me, or listeners, they don't give a shit.
Yeah,
So-
mostly. Yeah, I feel like if you're sensitive, if you're like, oh man, I've been meaning to watch that, like you're not going to listen to an hour and a half podcast about it. So.
Exactly.
So there you go.
It's a really good movie. It's a quality film. Denis, man, he's my if he is not my favorite director right now, he's definitely my favorite sci-fi guy.
For sure.
The dude is he brings a great style to it that I feel like really appeals to all. I would love to see him take on like an Isaac Asimov project, like Foundation or the Robot trilogy. Just I know there's a Foundation show on ITV right now, and I was kind of interested in it, but then I saw a trailer for it the other day, and I was like, that looks like shit, So, I would love to see him take a shot at more of these. Like, I would love to see him do a Total Recall.
Yeah. Brought up Isaac Asimov, and like I feel like I just had watched something about and I'm like, it's an IP we know that started out as a short story in an Isaac Asimov like fucking publication or whatever.
Enemy Mine.
Enemy Mine. That's
Enemy
right.
Mine.
Fuck.
We were watching
All
the
right.
Red Letter Media
Shit.
thing.
Oh, can I get through an episode without inadvertently bringing up Red Letter Media? It'd be
Dude,
nice.
Can you get through an episode without quoting Donkey? I
No.
don't think so.
Never. I'm not ashamed of that.
Whatever. We've quoted Ronin Dojo Community College a million times.
See,
on
and
this.
we know we'll never get called out for that. Though.
Oh
So
no,
it's
because
perfect.
nobody's ever gonna watch
'Cause you're
that
like,
show.
well, you stealing stuff from Duncan. I'm not stealing. I'm quoting. If somebody calls me out, I'll admit it. But when it comes to fucking Ronin Dojo, no.
Nobody's gonna know, dude. Nobody ever watched that show.
All right, we need to wrap this up.
We definitely do, dude. We're
Wrap this one up.
getting way off the wheels. But no, I would love to see him take a shot at some of these other classic sci-fi stories. Like I would like to see him do. I love Paul I've come to understand and love Paul Verhoeven's version of Starship Troopers, but I would like to see Denis take it on just to see what he would do with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so many sci-fi stories that I've always loved. That some of Ray Bradbury shit. I'd love to see a Fahrenheit 451 from him. I love Denis, dude.
I'm just down with whatever he wants to do.
Exactly.
Because like, yeah, he's like, we're saying like, he's our sci-fi guy, but you got to remember he did fucking Sicario, man.
He did Sicario. He did Prisoners, and
yeah.
I love both of those movies. Dude, the guy is just fucking good. He's a good director. That's like I said earlier. He wants to do a James Bond. I'm on board. Do it, dude. I love it. Bring it. Just anything he wants to do, I would be super pumped. If he said he was doing a fucking Marvel movie, I'd check it out.
Right. Seems like a guy who wants to work too, but like is kind of not picky, but
he wants to work, but like, and I feel like he's at this point definitely created his aesthetic and his vision, and I feel like people would leave him alone. You know, it's so funny because like he's kind of taking the place of Nicholas Winding Refn, where I'm just like, no, I can watch this and it's super stylistic and cool to look at without me feeling like a weird perv.
Oh man, but yeah, it's I think it's again
it's one of the best sci-fi movies.
I described it as pretty good, but again, I'm obsessed with it, and I think everybody should watch it. It's just me being critical about something, and when when we're being most critical, it's probably because we're involved, like we're in it. You know what I mean? Like I don't have.
No, I've really enjoyed this conversation.
I'm not. It's hard for me to get overly critical about like a good man or whatever. So
that's a deep cut back to our second or third episode where we talk about Steven Seagal movies.
Yep.
Steven Seagal was our bread and butter when we first started. Jesus Christ.
So anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. We will be back. I'm not even lying this time. We're going to be back with another episode in not too long.
No.
And you can find out when a new episode goes out. Subscribe on the iTunes or the Spotify or the Google. You can find us on all major podcasting apps, and that's where you'll get notified the easiest. But if you want to know everything we're doing, like if there's going to be a new classic ketchup coming out or something,
yeah, we got to get back on that.
Follow us on Twitter at Mighty Movie Pod. Also, a real possibility, you can watch us playing some fucking Battlefield or something on
Battlefield,
Twitch.
New World,
anything.
Yeah.
Sky's the limit on twitch.tv/Mighty Fish Productions. We are Mighty Fish Productions on YouTube. And that's going to about wrap it up. Thank you so much for listening. That has been Dune.
Thanks for coming back. Thanks for waiting.
Yeah, I'm sure that was a doozy of an episode, but it's good to be back.
Yeah. Warming it up again. The old podcast. Ryan, we're getting the band back together.
We're getting the band back together. Warm it up, Josh.
Oh, man.
We'll see you in the next one. We're going to keep warming up.
We'll be back.
All right.
We got to warm it up.
We're
stretching it out. What are we doing? I'm feeling this. 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 With shortest time, smile fade to the summer with their hand in mine. I'll leave when I wanna.